then I went back because of COVID, and then I just came back a couple of months ago. My favorite thing about St. Thomas and being a Tommy is definitely that people care about you. Like, we have this perception about college and university that, it's so big that you feel lost. At St. Thomas, the thing that I love the most is definitely this, that, like, it's not too big, it's not too small. So it's just the right size. It's not so big that you feel lost here, and it's not so small that you don't get the right exposure. That's why that's the most important thing that I love about St. Thomas, just the size, just the people, how much they care about you. Yeah.
Thanks, Sunisha. And if Mandeep or Barwinder, if you have any questions at all, Sunisha's just going to say hi real quick, but then she has to go back to her project that she's working on. It's pretty late here.
Yeah.
If any questions, you're welcome to ask.
Sunisha, a humble request, if you can just a quick message something in Hindi or Punjabi, as you're from India. So because this is an Asian nationality, a quick something in Hindi or Punjabi, whatever is convenient to you, if it is okay.
What do you want me to say? Like, about what?
No, same thing you can translate in Hindi or Punjabi, mix.
हाँ जी, मैं इंडिया से हूँ और भारत से हूँ, अगर आप इतना डिटेल में जाना चाहते हैं तो। जो चीज़ मुझे सेंट थॉमस के बारे में सबसे ज़्यादा अच्छी लगती है वो ये है कि मतलब बहुत बड़ा भी नहीं है और बहुत छोटा भी नहीं है। मतलब लोग आपके बारे में जेन्युइनली केयर करते हैं, आपका ध्यान रखना चाहते हैं। लोग अपने मतलब आउट ऑफ वे जाके दे विल मेक एफर्ट्स। आई एम सो यूज्ड टू मिक्सिंग इट अप, बट या they'll actually make efforts, वो खुद से कोशिश करेंगे आपको जानने की। और मतलब बहुत बड़ा भी नहीं है और बहुत छोटा भी नहीं है, इतना सही साइज का है कि मतलब आप लोगों को जान भी पाओगे, आपको मतलब एक्सपोजर भी मिलेगा, नए लोगों से मिलने का मौका मिलेगा, उनसे सीखने का मौका मिलेगा, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ मतलब आप अपने आप को खोया हुआ भी नहीं पाओगे कि इतना बड़ा नहीं है। क्योंकि कॉलेज जाके सबसे ज्यादा सबको यही डर होता है कि मतलब कोई मुझे जानेगा नहीं, और मतलब क्या होता है स्कूल में हम सबको जानते हैं, एक अप्रोप्रिएट साइज होता है, तो हमको टीचर्स हमें जानते हैं, क्लासेस सेम होती हैं। बट ये इतना बड़ा नहीं है कि मतलब स्टूडेंट प्रोफेसर रेशियो जैसे 1:17 है, तो हर प्रोफेसर आपको जानता होगा। Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sunisha. Thank you for sharing your experience with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunisha. Sunisha will be talking to the 2 students on this call next week. You will get an invitation in your email to do a Zoom just with Sunisha and or another student that we also have from Bhopal that will also be on the same Zoom call. So any last minute questions for Sunisha before she goes back to her homework?
Thank you for your valuable time at late night in US.
She's a hard worker. Thank you, Sunisha. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can always text me. I'm super open to interacting and talking about St. Thomas. अगर किसी को कोई भी सवाल हो तो मेरे से मिल सकता है, मुझे मैसेज कर सकते हो आप, and I would be more than happy to help.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sunisha. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Wonderful. I'm so happy. Sunisha is a wonderful student. She serves as one of our volunteer international student ambassadors. And this allows for prospective students to be able to talk to a current student before they make their decision to where they want to confirm. And then after they decide they confirmed at St. Thomas, it's a new friend that they can talk to, maybe ask questions about what to pack or what to bring, what campus is like. And then when students arrive, Sunisha and other students will be there to welcome the new students. So you'll definitely have a good friend in Sunisha. So to start off our webinar, I just wanted to explain a little bit more about the state of Minnesota. And so you can see here on my screen that I'm sharing, Minnesota is located in the middle of the United States. So we are in what's called the Midwest. And the Midwest is known for having very nice, welcoming, down-to-earth people. I'm from Chicago, and I've lived all over the world and all of the United States. And I moved to Minnesota to work at St. Thomas. And I've never left, and I never will leave, because it is a wonderful place to live with really awesome people. So another thing you probably should know is where we are in Minnesota. So we are located in an area called the Twin Cities, which is 2 cities. So we have St. Paul and Minneapolis, and the Mississippi River divides the 2 cities. So it's really like one giant city, but there's 2 of them. And usually students or people who aren't super familiar with US geography, they usually know the Mississippi River. So that's a good starting point. So you can see here, students will get access to both downtowns. Our campus is located on the Mississippi River itself. So we're right in the middle of both cities, which is nice for students to have access to both. We are also known as a state as the land of 10,000 lakes, because we have more than 10,000 lakes for you to go explore or have fun on. If you make an American friend who has a cabin, you can go see what that's like to go up north to the cabins. And if you do like social media, and specifically Instagram, I always recommend students these different Instagram accounts. They're beautiful photos that could show you a little bit more of what it might look like if you move here. So another thing to consider is, what are some of the statistics, right, where you might move? So Minnesota is known as the safest state in the United States. So it's us, Vermont, and Maine. And we all take places every year in the top 3. We all change every year, but we're always in the top 3, and we've been number 1 a lot. And so that's really important. If you're going to move across the world, you want to know that it's a safe place to live, and it's very safe. The whole state is safe. St. Paul is safe, Minneapolis is safe. It is also the 2nd best state in the country for jobs. And that's really important for international students who want to utilize their curricular practical training, or CPT, which allows them to do internships or work part-time, or their OPT, which allows them to work full-time after they graduate for 1 to 3 years, depending on what they studied. So you want to go to a place that has a lot of job opportunities if you want to utilize the work permission. And then if you look at the Twin Cities, we are the #1 best city for tech jobs. We are the fastest growing city for tech jobs in the United States. We are also #3 for startup companies. So if you're interested in joining the tech world, this is a very good opportunity for students who are interested specifically in technology, engineering, data science, data analytics, things like that. We have major companies located in the Twin Cities.
Great to know that. Hi, Miss Amanda, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I got information regarding the webinar via Mr. Aman. All right, so here with you, and it's my pleasure to get information from your end. I'm pretty much like interested to work with Aman, and yes, of course with you too, right? So thank you for inviting me for the webinar.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, feel free at any time. If you have a question, you can write it in the chat. Myself or Tom Lavani will answer it for you. Or you can unmute yourself, or we'll also have time at the end, whatever works for you. So
Yeah.
Thank you. So you can see here, we do have a lot of different companies in the area. And so if you see here, we have 17 Fortune 500 companies that have their international headquarters in the Twin Cities. And so that's a big deal, especially for jobs and networking. Specifically, students and people around the world tend to recognize companies like 3M. Their international headquarters is in St. Paul, Minnesota. People also tend to recognize Ecolab because they make all the hand sanitizer for around the world, especially right now with COVID. Or they recognize Target, which is a huge retail store. A lot of different options for depending on what students' exposure is. So if your student is going to move to Minnesota, they might not know anything about it, and that's okay. But I will tell you a little bit about it. We have one of the largest state fairs in the country, and we do bring new fall students to this fair for free. St. Thomas, like Sunisha said, is a really tight-knit community. It's about 6,000 undergraduate students, so you will make friends and you will meet new people throughout your 4 years, but you will definitely have a good sense of where you're living because you'll have access to all the fun things that we'll take you to for free. And it's a really good way to experience kind of the unique Minnesotan culture, especially right when you arrive and you're really excited to start. We'll take you to the fair right before classes start. We are also just down the road from the international airport. We're about 10 minutes down the road from the airport. So when students arrive, we pick them up in a car, and non-COVID times, it's us. We pick student leaders to come get you. But right now we have car service to ensure everyone's safety for COVID. And then we'll drop you off at campus and a student leader will show you around, get you all settled in. And then potentially if you need to go buy some things, we are also located 10 minutes from the largest shopping mall in the United States. So students usually love to go there, or maybe their parents come with them and they really enjoy going shopping while the student's in orientation. And there is no sales tax on clothes or shoes in the state of Minnesota. So when you get your winter coat and boots, you will save some money when you go buy that. We do have 4 seasons for students who may be a little bit scared about winter. It is an awesome experience. And if you've never seen snow, I will run outside at the first snow with you. It's really fun. Students will learn new hobbies. We'll bring them to our different snow activities. Minnesota is not somewhere where people like to stay inside. So there's always different activities happening throughout all the 4 seasons. One of the activities is our winter carnival, where they build ice castles and snow sculptures. You can go in the ice castles. We bring students to see the ice castles. This year they did an ice maze, all different things outside. And you get hot chocolate and you have a really good time enjoying a unique cultural experience in St. Paul. So definitely don't be scared about the winter. It's awesome. We are also just 2 hours south of the world's biggest freshwater lake, Lake Superior. So this is really popular for somebody to rent a car or go with a friend who has a car and drive up and down the coast of Lake Superior. There's beautiful waterfalls and hiking. It's extremely popular to go in the summer and fall. So definitely make some friends who have transportation because it's beautiful. Sometimes we do take students as well if there's interest for a day trip up there. We love being outside. Like I said, you can see Sunisha here at the ice castles, but we take students apple picking. We take them on an overnight retreat. If a student comes and they say they want to experience something and tells our office, we'll be like, all right, let's do it. We'll take you to whatever activity that is. We'll plan something fun because this is your experience as a student, and St. Thomas has the means to be able to take you to all these fun things. If you are a sports fan, we do have 6 professional sports teams. Soccer, football tends to be very popular with our international students, so we do take students to those games as well. And then if you're interested in art or theater or music, we definitely have plenty of opportunities for students to explore those, and they can even take a free shuttle to get down to downtown Minneapolis to see some of these things. So this is campus. It's also behind me. I have the background on so you can see it. So a little bit about us. We were founded in 1885, so we're fairly old and established. We're very well known in Minnesota and across the Midwest specifically because we've been here for so long. We are a private Catholic liberal arts university with strong STEM programs. However, you do not have to be of any religion to come to St. Thomas. Catholicism is part of the foundation. It is not enforced. It doesn't need to be a big part of your experience if you don't want it to be. We do have a brand new interfaith center, and we have different people on staff from all different religions. Everybody is welcome, and there's always something happening to either learn or share about your religion, culture, background, anything you want. There's always something going on that you can share or learn from others about. We are known as the largest private university in the state of Minnesota. And so what that means is we have a lot of colleges in the area. We have the second highest concentration of colleges and universities in the United States. And so that means there's a lot of young people around, which is an awesome environment as a student. And we're kind of the biggest of the small schools in the area. So you do get, like I said, 6,000 undergraduate students to get to know in your 4 years. So your incoming class will be about 1,000 students total, maybe like 1,500, depends. And so you'll have those people as your classmates and in the residence halls with you. And then you also could meet new people throughout your time. We do have about 6% of our student population is international. And so we have over 550 international students from 72 different countries as of right now. And our Indian student population is our second largest population on campus. So definitely would be in good company of fellow Indian students, but also get to meet people from all over the world. And then like Sunisha said, very small class sizes, and that's really important for students learning. It's really important that students get a professor in the classroom to teach them. Sometimes at very big universities, that just doesn't happen because of the way it's structured. So undergraduate students sometimes in those places, big universities are maybe in a lecture hall of 100 or 400 students. Maybe it's a graduate or a PhD student teaching them. And so they don't get access to that professor in a way that would provide personalized support and learning. And so at St. Thomas, we don't allow for student teachers. And so you will always have a professor as your teacher. And that means they're going to know your name, your interests, your room for growth, your strengths. Maybe they see a lot in you and want to offer you a research position working with them, or they want to support whatever goals you have. Maybe they write your letter of recommendation for a job or for graduate school. Those are the connections that will help you break into the US with networking. It's all about building relationships. It's all about having a mentor or support. And that's really important to us to give that personalized attention to students. So you will not be in a big classroom. That just doesn't happen. So like I said, we're really close with our students. Like you're not going to see me on this webinar and then send your student to St. Thomas and then never, like you don't know who they're connected with. It's me. I will be there. It's me. It's our office. It's the community of students you'll show up with. We're really close. This is the president of the university in this photo here. She invites all the new international students to her house for appetizers because she wants to know you. And we do activities all the time. You can see Sunisha all over this page. Really in tune with our students and our community. And that's also really important to make sure that you feel like you have a new home to join. So this is an idea of like where we are in the area. I did say that we back up to the Mississippi River. So the other side of campus here backs up to the Mississippi. So there's beautiful walking and hiking trails. And then this is downtown Minneapolis, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on traffic in our free shuttle bus. We do have a free bus that'll pick students up in front of the student center and take them to our other campus in Minneapolis every 20 minutes. And so they have access to everything they want, even if they don't have a car. And then we also have a tunnel system across this side of campus. So if it's snowing or raining, or you just need to get quickly from one building to the other, you can go underground in the tunnel system. Pretty cool. We have a top 10 student union or student center in the US. It's awesome. It's where you'll eat lunch and go to meetings and see people on campus. It's a really important part of your experience is outside the classroom learning and leadership development. That's very important to the US college experience in addition to academics, obviously. We also have it's about 9 years old now, student recreation complex. So this is included in student fees, access to the gym. We have an indoor, outdoor track, swimming pool. If you just like to join sports or work out, or maybe do it for fun, all of this is yours to have access to as a student. Here's one of our 3 libraries on campus where students can study, have study groups. A lot of students end up working in the library. It's a really good on-campus job as well, so they can study and do homework while they work. And then we also are very highly ranked in our engineering programs. So here's our Science and Engineering Center. And we also have one of the first areas for microgrid research in the country. And so that was co-sponsored by a local energy company here. And so you can see students working in that space as well. So we do have another campus, mostly for graduate students in downtown Minneapolis. So you can see it looks like St. Thomas, but in the middle of the city. And the international headquarters for Target is right behind this building. So if a student gets an internship, maybe they're studying business, they can take that free purple bus to this campus, and then they can walk to their internship very easily. We also have a skyway system in both cities. And so if it's cold out, everybody walks in the skyways, and you can see they connect the roads above the roads. Every single building in both cities is connected this way. So it's kind of fun because you see people, it's kind of like if you put the sidewalk up in the air, and there's restaurants and things to do in there as well. So we are really proud of the fact that we have really strong connections with employers in the area. After students graduate from St. Thomas, they can work anywhere they want in the United States. Many choose to stay in the Twin Cities because of the job opportunities that we have. So 95% of our students are either in graduate school or working within a year of graduating. I actually saw the statistic for the graduate program that I did at St. Thomas, and it's what made me choose it, to be honest with you. I wanted to make sure I got a job in my field. I got a job in my field. I am proof that it works. So definitely recommend looking at all the options that the Career Development Center has, even your first year as a student, because they can connect you with really cool opportunities to learn, whether you're working on campus or off campus in the future. And so we have job fairs all the time. We have reverse job fairs even. Our engineering students do reverse job fairs in their junior year, where they stand and have their resume blown up on a poster, and the employers have to come to them and kind of try to get student work for them. So it's really unique, changes the power dynamic. And we purposely are rebuilding and remodeling our entire alumni development, corporate development, career development center right now. And it's located right beneath my office. So definitely really close. I'm happy to help if you have questions when you come. And then this is a very cool map that shows the best college for employment in every single state in the United States. And in a very crowded market, like I said, we have a second highest concentration of universities. We ranked #1. And to me, that just shows how much that personalized support and learning, development with staff and your professors help students in the real world, right? When they need to go out and use those skills that they learned in school, this works. So campus life is very important. You don't want to have an empty resume. You don't want to have, I'm an awesome student and I did a part-time job once. It's not going to cut it when you're going out there into the real world. People, especially in the United States, they want to see leadership. They want to see that you're involved, that you have multiple interests and experiences. And so you get those inside and outside the classroom. So the fun stuff is our March Through the Arches, and this is a welcoming ceremony and exit ceremony for students. So when new students come, our international students get their flag, and they lead all 1,000 new students into the arches, our famous arches behind me, into campus for the welcoming ceremony. And then when they graduate, they get their flag again, and they lead the entire graduating class out of the arches. It's my favorite day on campus because everybody's new and excited, and it's really apparent the awesome international community that we have. We also have a way for students to get to know local families. It's called the Friendship Family. This is important because you're going to be on a college campus as a student, maybe not within a family or with little kids or pets or something. So this is a way to be like a friend with a local family and experience maybe Thanksgiving with them or something their family likes to do. So we have local families that are really excited to get to know and bring new international students into their family. We also have huge cultural dinners. It's unique. We have Asian night, African night, Desi night, Somali night, Black Empowerment night, Ola night, every night you could think of. It is fully funded, massive, formal dinners that students plan everything, and it culminates in the international dinner, which has been happening for over 30 years now. And we're hoping to have it again next spring once the pandemic's under control and the world can go back to normal. But this is the last one that we had, all student planned, and it's really an awesome showcase of our students. For campus housing, 96% of our students their first year do live on campus, and we are actually moving to a 2-year residency requirement for all students. And this is because research shows that students struggle in terms of retention and grades the most their second year of college. After the excitement is there and they start to take harder classes second year, So it's really important to be able to access the support systems like tutoring, working with a professor in office hours, having study groups, things like that, all on campus. And so that's why we're moving to a 2-year residency to provide that extra support. And so we actually built 2 brand new buildings to accommodate all of those students that will be living on campus. And they just finished them last summer. And so they're right here and they are beautiful. So if you get a chance to live in one, everyone's really jealous because they're awesome. And so definitely nice facilities for students to live in, and more traditional in the beginning, and then apartment style when they're older if they would like. So they can cook, have their own kitchen, have their own bedroom, not have to share a bathroom, things like that. And then we do have over 120 different clubs, and this could look like a business club, accounting club, computer science club. Sunisha, the student you met, she's in charge of computer science club. Any club, either academic or personal interest or cultural or whatever a student wants, if they want to make their own, it exists at St. Thomas. And what's really awesome is our alumni network is very strong. So you can see here, we do bring back people who either graduated from St. Thomas and are working in the field, or maybe they graduated a long time ago and they are the CEO of something. We do bring them to campus all the time. We have a First Friday series where we just had the CEO of 3M last Friday. We've had the CEO of Best Buy. All these local companies, they want to support local students, right? So St. Thomas students are very important to them. And so there's definitely a lot of opportunities to get involved and start building those connections. Or if you just want to do something fun, that's important too. We are also the first university in modern history to move from Division III athletics to Division I athletics. They had to rewrite the rules to allow us to do this because we got kicked out of our competition because we were winning too much. So we moved to Division I, which means we can offer athletic scholarships now, and we are much more competitive against other Division I schools. So this is really exciting for St. Thomas, and it's going to put St. Thomas kind of on the map globally for student athletes, but also for students who want to go to a Division I school. There's a lot more attention happening at the Division I schools because of this. And so we will be starting with Division I this fall. So we're already recruited most of the athletes. Scholarships do exist. If you knew a really good student athlete, definitely worth asking about. And then we also have what's unique, it's called January term or J term. And it allows for students to take the month of January and have a couple options for their education. So they can take a 1 semester or 1 month class at St. Thomas for 50% off, or they can go home for an entire month, which is very nice for our international students to be able to see their family for that long. They could explore the United States or wherever they want in that month, or they can even do a study abroad class. So they could take a St. Thomas class and go abroad with their class. Our business majors go to London, and that's very popular, but we have every country represented for study abroad. So we have 56% of our students study abroad. It's one of the highest in the country. And a lot of it is because of January term allows for flexibility for students. Students can work on campus in the United States their first year. They cannot work off campus their first year in the US. That is not allowed for international students. And this also is kind of good because it allows for students to kind of get familiar with maybe US workplace customs, build their resume a little, get some experience before they go and try to apply for jobs off campus their second, third, or fourth year. And so we help students with that process. So there's our Career Development Center, and the average wage just got raised to $12 an hour. So students can make more than $6,000 in a school year, and then they're allowed to work 40 hours a week in the summer or holidays. So a lot of students take that opportunity to do like their research job that they get paid to do in the summer because they can work longer hours and make more money and get more experience. We do have over 150 different majors and minors for students to choose from. And so you can see here, if it says STEM after it, it means it is STEM eligible for OPT. And so that means students can work for 3 years after they graduate rather than the given 1 year. It's called a STEM extension for those extra 2 years. And so students can also double major. And if they get a job in their major that's STEM, they can still do the 3-year OPT. And so that's really important for students who want to take advantage of that opportunity. The other thing that students ask a lot about, everyone wants to know how it's going with COVID, right? We all see the news about each other's countries, and it's a very strange time in our world, but we are very thankful that our community has rallied to make everybody safe, to move a lot of classes online, but still offer the required in-person class for international students. And so there are a lot of different modes, but I guess the best word is hybrid or blended. Some students are taking partly in person, mostly online. Some of their classes might be all online. Some of their classes might be all in person. It might switch every other week. It really depends on the professor and the communication of the department with that student. But we've allowed for socially distanced classrooms for the in-person components. We've revamped all of our technology to make sure that all the students have access, even if they are online or online that day. And then we're really proud of the fact that we've had extremely low COVID cases at St. Thomas all year. They do a weekly report. Last week it was 1. And we have 10,000 students and about 11,000, probably about 12,000 people total in the St. Thomas community, if not more. 1. And they've all been mild, and there's no proof of classroom students contracting in the classroom. It's from outside. Maybe they met up with somebody or did something. And so we're doing it. It's okay. We're all doing all right. And we hope to have an in-person fall with the rollout of the vaccine, but please feel free to ask questions if you're curious a little bit more about what this looks like. I'm happy to share at the end as well. And then we do have tons of different majors and minors, and what we found is these are the most popular with our international students. We are ranked number 33 in the United States for our engineering programs. They're extremely strong. They incorporate study abroad in a really great way if students want to take that opportunity to maybe go study in Germany. If they're an engineer, that's a smart study abroad decision. We also are Abbott accredited, and more than 80% of our students do at least one internship while they are studying. Many do more. And then their senior year, they do a senior design clinic with sponsorship from a local company, like 3M sponsors student research projects. If the project's good enough, the company might even make it. They're solving a local problem or a community problem in their project. Our Opus College of Business is also extremely well known, especially in Minnesota. We have 12 different areas of concentrations for business administration, and students can do double majors within business too. If like they want to do entrepreneurship and financial management, that would be a really smart combination. I also have students who do financial management and economics because that's smart too, or psychology in business or engineering in business. And students have a lot of flexibility in the US education system to be able to not really settle on something until they're in their second year formally. They'll put it, of course, on their application for their I-20, but there's a lot of flexibility in the US education system and a lot of support at St. Thomas for students to explore what they really want to get their major in, because that's important. We are also number 35 in the United States for our Schultz School of Entrepreneurship, which is an extremely strong program that allows for students to start their own businesses and workshop those ideas. We have tons of different business competitions for students to win scholarship money as well. We've consistently had international students win those scholarships as well. They're about $6,000 sometimes for a business competition. So definitely doesn't hurt to help fund that tuition. Our science programs are very popular because many students are interested in something like pre-med or pre-pharmacy. And so students would pick a major. So they would pick like neuroscience or biochemistry, and then they would declare that they're pre-med, but they have to study that major. And then pre-med means they get put in a special kind of track to make sure that students are ready for what's next after they graduate, which is applying to medical school and what that process looks like. And so that's how students kind of get support and help in that way by going pre-med. And so students maybe would double major in this. There are tons of research opportunities. This is one of my students here. They were taking photos, so he's everywhere now, but this is him doing a research grant he's gotten every single summer to work with his professor. And I wrote his recommendations and I helped him with a statement of purpose. And he just got into a combined PhD program, a master's program for biochemistry. So there's a lot of support. I'm really proud of him, but this is not, an unusual story for our students. Another thing I want to highlight is actuarial science. Actuarial science, if you're not familiar, is the study of risk. So people usually think insurance companies for this, but every company needs actuaries. This is an extremely strong program for your students who are talented at math. We are designated as a center for actuarial science. There's only we're one of 33 schools in the world and 17 schools in the United States that are designated as such. It's the highest acknowledgement that you can get from the Society of Actuaries. And so St. Thomas Actuarial Science degree carries a lot of weight in the field. I have a student who's an actuarial science major. He already has a job offer and he had it months ago for May, and they were like begging him to get the signing bonus, but he had to wait because he's not ready yet. So if you have an actuarial science degree and you're good at math, it opens up a lot of opportunities both in the US and abroad. There's a shortage of actuaries in a lot of countries in the world, so it would be a very smart major. We also are known for computer science, data analytics. So with being the fastest growing city for tech jobs, really smart to maybe major or double major in one of these. And then we also are known as a unique kind of major with health and exercise science. We are slated to get approved for a nursing program by fall 2022. We're going through the accreditation process right now. And this is going to be really wonderful for a lot of students who are interested in nursing to be able to now choose St. Thomas. So our International Year One program is a pathway program. For those of you who are familiar with pathway programs or International Year One programs, this allows for students who are just below the direct admission requirements to still start college. And what happens is their first year, they get a ton of extra support for no additional cost, because we don't want to take that opportunity away from students to start college just because they need some extra support. And so extra support, it means that they get all these academic services. We have designated tutors for students. We have smaller class sizes. We have a designated student success manager who works with the students one-on-one and in their cohort groups to ensure that they succeed throughout their first year and move into their second year, just like every other student, but they get all this extra help. And the reason is because there are slightly lower admission requirements. And so if you see here, there's GPA. We do all the conversion for students. So you can send their standard 10 and 12 or IB scores or whatever they have. And we'll convert it over to a 4.0 scale GPA for them for no cost, obviously. And so 2.5 GPA versus a 3.0 for direct. And then for TOEFL, it's 60 minimum. For IELTS, it's 5.5. If the student has chosen to study English at ELS first, level 109, and then they can start at St. Thomas. Or Duolingo's become extremely popular with COVID, and we do accept Duolingo. Happy to accept it, and they get an 85 minimum or higher, obviously. So this is what it looks like. They do graduate in 4 years. So the first year, just like any other first year student, they're all St. Thomas students and they get a St. Thomas I-20. That's very helpful when they're trying to get through that visa interview to have a St. Thomas I-20, a university I-20 carries a lot of weight in that visa interview process. And so then they would move into second year like normal. So then they would not be considered International Year One in their second year of college. So International Year One specifically has a set curriculum. And this is really important because we want to ensure that students still get the exact same amount of credits their first year to move into their second year. So they will graduate in 4 years on time. And so we provide English for academic purposes. And obviously all the students we admit speak English. Of course, we know and understand that. This is at that academic college level that we're making sure that students are going to be successful at things like research papers, writing, speeches, things that are required of them to be successful in this environment. And so it allows for that slower kind of supported transition into those classes. And then they take some classes with their cohort, which is really nice because it's much more individual attention than we even already provide. And then they will take other classes, like our first year experience is something every new student has to take. They'll take that with everybody else. So it's a nice mix of smaller cohort and general population classes. And then in January term or summer, they will take a geography class as well to ensure they get those credits to move into year two. So if you have a student and you're not sure which type of entry they need to go into, this is a very helpful chart for students to understand. Here's the direct, here's international year one requirements. And I'm happy to always look at students. If you just ever want to ask, what do you think about this student? Which program should they apply to? Happy to look at a transcript or English score and help advise before they even apply. It is free to apply too, so that's nice. So tuition and fees before our scholarships. We offer very nice scholarships. Private schools kind of worked interestingly where they cost a lot, but then we give big scholarships. It's just how it works. And so scholarships will come out of that tuition cost. Room and board is your unlimited meal plan, your housing, and then indirect costs being, you know, books, school supplies, health insurance the entire time they're here. And the only reason there is a cost difference that you can see here for international year one and direct is because of this middle semester class. All students can take a January or summer class. Most do at some point. It's just ensured in the first year that they get those credits in. And so after that year, everything's the same. That's the only additional thing. Most students will pay it anyways. And so we do offer up to 50% for our international year one students, and that comes off of tuition. So you can see here if they get 30 or if they get 50, what that looks like for costs. And then obviously tuition goes down because of that. And then everything else is standard across all universities. And then the total obviously goes significantly down from the previous slide. Our average across the board for direct and international year one is 50% off. So that's exciting. And it allows, like if a student applies, they get admission and scholarship at the exact same time in the same email. So there's no additional hoops to jump through. There's no cost to pay for a scholarship if you're trying to go get things, you know, evaluated for your credentials, none of that. And then the last thing I want to share with you is if you are looking at universities and students don't ever know this, you want to make sure that their International Students and Scholars Office is above and beyond. These are the folks that are going to ensure that students have everything in order, that they're in status, that they get proper advising about CPT, that work permission, and OPT, that after graduation work permission. You want to have an office that's on top of it because things change a lot in the federal government in the US. Now with different administration, we're really hoping things will be extra great and supportive of international students. But this is the support that we provide at St. Thomas. We consistently are advising other schools on new policies or procedures to support students because we're always doing them first because we have very strong immigration advisors. So that's something that students don't think to ask. You need to ask about what the immigration advising at that school looks like to ensure that student is really successful for all 4 years or beyond that they want to stay in the United States. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. All of our contact information is here. You can work with VMARS to apply for St. Thomas, whether it's international year one or direct. The websites are here if you wanted to ever go around and look at them more. Tom Lavani has our digital brochure as well to break down a lot of the information that's in the PowerPoint. But I'll be sending her everything and she can forward it to all of you as well. And we do have I have a WhatsApp that I answer our St. Thomas MN International Instagram. If somebody likes to do that better, I don't mind. And then mine and Tom Lavani's emails here as well. But please, if you have any questions, I saw the chat going off. I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, so can we have a question? Can I raise some questions that I have? Well,
What's your question?
Okay, so like I wasn't like in depth in the meeting because a kind of like a poor internet connection area. So what about like the beauty related subjects, if like a student wanted to go for the master program related to health and beauty, what about it?
Master's programs? Yeah. So I am solely the admissions person for our, let me show it to you, for our undergraduate programs. Every school at the master's level does their own admissions. And so that's why mine's more general, because it is for undergraduate students. I can put the link, but since we are so separate, it would have to be a direct conversation with the person who does admissions for the graduate programs that they have. And the link is right there for the contact or an application or whatever it looks like for the student, just to learn a little bit more. But our engineering and our software programs are very popular.
Okay, so basically what I got from your end is that St. Thomas is specialized for science and.
Yeah, we have very strong STEM programs. We're also a liberal arts institution with super strong business programs, math programs. We have over 150 different majors and minors, but yes, people are recognizing more and more how strong our STEM programs are, especially with engineering being ranked number 33 in the country. Any other questions?
Hello, Amanda. Good morning. This is Sushil Kumar.
Hi, Sushil.
Hi. I just wanted to say thank you very much. It's been very informative and it was very nice sitting here listening to all the information that you shared with us. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. That's very kind. I appreciate that.
What about the intakes? Like, what are the intakes available for the students?
Yes, good question. The intakes. So the intakes are fall, which is the day students arrive the last week of August. Usually it's around August 30th. Every year is different, obviously. That's the most popular intakes. That's more of a traditional start time. We also have a spring intake, and students would arrive the last week of January to start classes the first week of February. Good question.
Good morning.
So there are two intakes available.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good morning. This is Nathaniel from Nigeria.
Hi.
Yes. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the class.
Thank you.
Yes. My question is this: for students coming from an English language, English speaking countries like Nigeria, where English is the official language. Do we require any English proficiency test before we can apply for schools before we can apply for a school?
Yeah, great question. I'm really happy you asked that. So for Nigeria, we do look at the West African exam. And so there is a score that students can meet. And it's if they get a B6 or C6 or C4 on English, then that meets the requirement for International Year 1. If they get a B3 or above, then that meets the requirement for direct. And if they don't have that, which is very rare, we don't tend to see students who don't have that, then we would look at that students would probably for an English proficiency score, depending on, if they've done college or, already and they're a transfer student. That's a different conversation, obviously. But yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. And then same if a student is from like a IB school or American school or something like that, we would look at a student maybe case by case if they have something to share. But we do just tend to see that everybody understands that you just take an English proficiency exam, because it means that it's for sure we understand if you're International Year 1 or if you should go direct, like what does that look like for that student? Yeah, good question. Thank you for asking that.
All right, thank you so much. My second question is this: for students coming from to study rather, after admission, is there possibly tuition deposits before they apply for visa?
Yeah, good question. So confirmation deposit is $400, and it does get refunded if the student does not get their visa, because obviously we don't want to take a student's money if they can't get their visa. That's ridiculous. So we would refund it. And that's to hold their spot for housing and for their seat in class. So $200 for housing, $200 for their seat. And that's to ensure that, students are coming and we have accurate numbers and placing and class scheduling and everything else that we need to arrange for students. But then after they would arrive, they would pay tuition and everything else broken down by semester.
Okay, you mean to say that $400 is will be paid before? All right.
$400 confirmation deposit, and then obviously there's fees associated with getting a visa that we have nothing to do with. That's the U.S. government, and the student would work on the consulate website to schedule that.
Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice.
Good question.
Okay, we have, first of all, thank you, Amanda, for all the great information. And thanks, Tamilwani and Kiran, to, plan everything. Okay, we have two students also, those who have already, and got an offer letter from the UST. So Mandeep and Parvinder, you both are students. And if you have to ask any questions or you want to say something, so you're welcome to speak something over here. Mandeep, you and Parvinder, you can speak something, please. As both of you have received your offer letter. So if anything in your mind or something in your parents' mind, so Amanda is there to answer you. So you can ask.
No, sir, I haven't turned it out.
If you think of anything, Parwinder, and you like WhatsApp, you're welcome to write our WhatsApp number. I can answer any quick questions you may come into your head. No problem.
And
Yes,
if anything from your side, if you want to say something.
I have a question, please.
Answer.
Yes, my question is this: for students looking at the tuition fee you've explained earlier, looking at the tuition fee range and some other things like that, can students get scholarship even before entering into the school, or before coming, or before applying for visas? You can get scholarship directly from your home country, or be inside the school before scholarship?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So students do get admission and scholarship at the same time, regardless of what type of admission they're admitted to. And so that's really helpful, because then the student can weigh their options and say, okay, what is this whole experience going to look like for me? What's the scholarship they got awarded? Am I admitted, right? And then we'd also be reaching out to them consistently as soon as they're admitted as well. And then, yes, so when they go for their visa appointment, they'll already know that they're admitted and what scholarship they have.
All right, that's very good. I really enjoyed it once again. And generally, I'm a student recruiter from Nigeria, or let me say from Africa generally, and I will want to cooperate with you. So I don't know who can get in touch with in studying student from Africa to your college.
Yeah, you're welcome to work with me, Tamilwani, VMARS. All of us on this call are here to support students who want to come to St. Thomas. And all of our contact information is on the screen right here. If you wanted to take a picture, my email's right here, but it's probably the best, or Tamilwani's email's right there. And then if anybody else wanted to put contact information in the chat that he could have, that would be great as well.
All right.
Yeah, Miss Amanda, can I have one question?
Sorry?
Can I have one more question?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so yeah, like a friend asked about scholarship, right? What about the upfront scholarship chances? Like, what would be the chances of scholarship?
So all students are considered for a merit-based scholarship, and they get the merit-based scholarship awarded to them at the time of admission. And so in their admission, it'll say, here's amount your scholarship is worth, and then what that makes your cost after scholarship. And then we have like a breakdown of fees and what that looks like, so the student's not confused about what things cost, right? And as part of their admission package. So it's really helpful to understand with people's families and things like that.
So it's
there are two questions. There are two questions in a chat box. One, can students apply without Yeah, hi. There are two questions in a chat box. One, that can student apply without IELTS? This is a question one. And another question, that what is the gap accepted? Like after their 10+2 and or after their graduation. So for a UG program and PG program, how much gap we will accept, a study gap?
I mean, each student is different, but a lot of times, like especially now, students will be taking time off, and that's totally fine. We usually just want to make sure that we have every transcript to allow for transfer credit or potential college credit they might get for whatever program they've done. You know, obviously, there's also the thing to think about with if the student is significantly taking a lot of time off of school, that might flag a visa officer. And so that's the thing we're upfront about, you know, hey, yeah, you are qualified to come and I'm happy to admit you. Just a heads up, like this, we've seen rejections because of, you know, different situations with student schooling or background. And then the other question that was in the chat was about whether or not a student could apply without IELTS. Yes, they are welcome to apply without IELTS. We can do what's called a conditional admission. If they want to know, based on my grades, could I come and what would my scholarship be? But we would need to meet the English proficiency some way. We do accept all of the tests, basically. And so that means that we can accept TOEFL, we accept Duolingo. A lot of students are preferring Duolingo right now. It's less expensive. It can be done from their computer at home. And then also if a student has maybe a certain type of curriculum they've taken, if they've done like A levels or something, A levels also would meet the requirement depending on their grades. That's a really good question. Any other questions?
Any other questions from anyone? And okay, I just speak in little in Hindi. आप में से अगर किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है और जो आप हिंदी में पूछना चाहते हो तो हिंदी में पूछ लो. I will translate for you in English. So आप लोग हिंदी में पूछ सकते हैं क्वेश्चन. So I'll translate or something in English. You're always welcome.
Hey Amanda.
Hi Mandeep.
Ma'am, there is a question. Is there any hostel facilities available near the university or not?
That's a great question. I tend to recommend, I have a whole document if your family's curious where they could stay when they drop you off. Usually parents or family or anybody would come stay at an Airbnb. That's the most popular because we are located in a super beautiful neighborhood. And so you can, families can stay in these really nice houses that are right by for not a lot of money. But then also, since we have that free shuttle, some students, families will stay at a hotel that's near our downtown campus for easy access, and then they can take the free shuttle back and forth. And if students want to live off campus, their first year, since we're moving to a residency requirement, they would have to file for an exemption form. And that's the whole process with residence life that I'd be happy to explain if that's something that pertains to you.
Okay.
Good question. Any last minute questions? I appreciate everyone's time. These are really good questions. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so what is the criteria that is set for the scholarship for the international students?
So it's merit-based. So it's based on grades, obviously some kind of proof of English proficiency. Students can also choose to, submit a letter of recommendation or their resume or an essay. Those things are not required for International Year 1 and they are optional for direct. But obviously if International Year 1 or direct student wanted to send them, I'd be happy to put them as a part of their application, no problem at all.
So basically what I understood is that, their English proficiency score, their GPA and their recommendation letters are the, criteria for the scholarship, right?
Could be recommendation letters, or if a student doesn't have that, they can do a resume or an essay. Those are always welcome on any topic. Often students who apply with Common App have that prompted. Our application has that prompted. Our International Year 1 application does not have that prompted, but a student can send it in an email and I would add it to their application as well.
And I just heard that even without IELTS, students are eligible to apply at St. Thomas, right?
Yes, they can either do conditional admission while they wait for something like a test or something that they just don't have scheduled yet, or we can look at other ways of accepting English proficiency. We have it on our website of all the different ones we accept if a student has like Pearson or Duolingo or A-levels or the West African exam, like our friend in Nigeria asked about. There's a lot of different ways that student can meet the English proficiency, even if they choose not to take an IELTS, if they choose to do something else.
Yeah, actually, in the meantime, I have few applicants, right, who are like having very sound knowledge on English because they have like started and graduated from the English medium, right? Since we are from Nepal.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you ever wanted to have me look at someone's transcript and general like application before they applied, I would always be happy to do that as well. You can work with Aman or Tamalvani to make sure that we have access to those documents. We'd be happy to help.
Yeah, actually, Amanda, if we had to have a conversation in Skype, what would be the contact for Skype?
We don't use Skype. We tend to use Zoom. I have a Skype, but you could just email me and we could figure out what that looks like.
Hello, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, how much time will it take for the whole process?
Yeah, so for you or any student who's already been admitted, so the process is relatively easy at this point. It's the next steps would be confirmation. And so putting that confirmation deposit down and then scheduling a student visa appointment with an embassy or consulate. So India is doing really well. We had no issues so far last year with students. We even had students from Nepal fly to India to get their visa interview. And so you should be set for in terms of setting up a visa interview now or in the next coming month or so. And so after the visa interview, students will let us know, hey, I got my visa. And we're like, great. And then about a month to 2 months before you arrive, you'll be getting all the pre-arrival information and what that looks like to schedule your airport pickup, to pick your dormitory that you would like to live in, to go through all the steps of like talking to current students and asking me every question. And so that'll happen all about a month or two before you arrive.
Okay, ma'am.
Good question.
हेलो
Hi.
मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि स्टडी खत्म होने के बाद बच्चा कितनी देर तक यूएसए में रह सकता है?
Amanda, she's asking that what about the PSW, post-study work visa? Means after these studies, how and how much time students can stay there?
Yeah, great question. So depends on the student, which is always true of anything, right? It depends. So students can study for 4 years at the undergraduate level. Then if there are science, technology, engineering, or math, they can work for up to 3 years on OPT or just 1 year if they do a non-STEM major. And then if they got sponsorship for an H-1B in that time from their employer, then they would get put in the lottery for H-1B. And then if they didn't get sponsorship, or maybe they didn't get the lottery, then they can go back to graduate school and get their master's degree for 2 years. And they can work during those 2 years because they've already been in the US for 4. And then if they want to keep working wherever they are, they can work part-time. And then they could get another 1 to 3 years to work after their master's. And then they're done, unless they go back to school. But you only get to work twice after each degree, you get to work once. So typically it's twice for students total. That was a lot, Aman. I'm sorry if you have to translate all of that.
can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. I hope that helps. It's kind of confusing once you get into the details. It could happen. I mean, they could stay for a long time if they wanted to use their work experience.
Thank you, Amanda. Any other questions?
Yes, right?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Hi.
Yes, I saw something like CBT and OPT. I
Yep.
want to start my marketing strategy now, but I don't really understand that. So please, can you explain that to me briefly?
Sure. So CPT is curricular practical training, and that allows for a student to work part-time or get an internship while they're studying. And it has to be related to their field. They can't just go work at a cash register or something. It has to be like a business internship or a part-time job at an engineering company or something like that, if whatever they're studying makes sense. And so they're allowed to work part-time. They have to live in the US for at least 1 year and be studying before they can work part-time or do an internship, because their grades, their schooling, it's why they're here in the first place. So that takes priority. And then OPT, or optional practical training, is the permission that students have to work after they graduate. And so students all get 1 year of work permission if they want to take advantage of it to work after they graduate. But if a student studied science, technology, engineering, or math, one of the majors that fall under STEM, then they can apply for 2 more years. So 3 years total per degree if they study something in STEM and have a job. Obviously, they have to go get the job too. It's not just like handed to them. So, I mean, they apply for the permission with the US government. They get the permission from the US government, like, yep, you're good to go. And then they'd be in conversations with employers to work for them at the same time.
All right, I get it now.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, so I'm going to start my marketing strategy and I will get back to you.
Wonderful, thank you. Thanks for all the great questions.
Thank you, Amanda. That was a great, wonderful presentation.
Miss Amanda.
Thanks, Tamalani.
Yeah, for any
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. For any queries and student application, I request all you to reach out to Mr. Aman and their team. Email ID is VmarsStudyVisa@gmail.com. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Aman.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Tamilwani.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Amanda. Can you hear me? Yeah, are you there?
Hi.
Yeah, actually, after undergraduation, there is a provision of 3 years of PSW, right?
1 to 3 years, depending on their area of study.
Okay, there. So that means they will be studying 4 years, and then they have 1 to 3 years of PSW as per their study background, right?
Yes, 1 to 3 years. As long as they go and get a job, they're allowed to work 1 to 3.
So you just told they're not allowed to work for a year of time, right? So what about it?
They can work on campus. So most students will get a job at their university campus their first year, and maybe they keep that job the whole time, but they're allowed to work on campus their first year.
So for the first year, that they are only allowed to work on campus, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, and how often, you already mentioned, but even though, how often job fairs are organized by the campus for?
Yeah, all the time. They are always happening. There are so many, depending on what the student's major is, or if it's a general job fair. There's one just for the private schools in the area. I would say that they heavily focus in the spring semester as well, because students are getting ready to graduate or look for summer employment at that time. But they are happening all throughout the year.
And one specific applicant is here with me, right? She have like
Hello. Yes, Kiran. Okay. Yeah, okay, Kiran. Yes, Kiran. Yes. Let me tell that. Kiran. Thank you, Kiran.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Amanda, did you get what?
Yeah, so if a student already has their master's degree, that does limit their options for studying in the United States pretty significantly, unless they wanted to go for like a PhD doctoral program. But if they're interested in beauty, if I understood it, there is no permission that they would have to do like a beauty certificate or something like that. There's no visa for something like that. That doesn't exist because it's not like a degree seeking program.
Student of sociology. She has a background of sociology, right?
Mhm.
So what would be suitable options to enter into St. Thomas?
Sociology, we do have a PhD program in sociology, but it is very much, sociology is going to be in the US, very much geared towards the US. It's totally possible, but if she already has a master's, that does limit her options for continuing, unless she wants to maybe get a PhD to be like a faculty member. And that's different. She could definitely do that, but she would want to go to a program that is training students for that type of education. We don't have that type of program in sociology at St. Thomas at the PhD level. We have like the practical, like if she wanted to go and serve the community in the US model.
Okay, so a possibility of like having
sorry to interrupt.
remasters.
Sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So already we have extended our meeting. It's getting late for Amanda. It's already night time. So
it's midnight.
If you have any questions, please draft it and send it to Mr. Aman. So we'll be happy to, address all your queries, if you don't mind.
Actually, right now in US, it's somewhere around 4:30 a.m.
It's midnight. It's 12 p.m. Yep.
What's the time, Amanda, in US right now?
It's 12 p.m. at night. It's midnight. 12 a.m.
Aman, we can close the session right now. Maybe if any agent have any questions, we are happy to address through email.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much
good
once
rest of your
again,
day.
Amanda, Amel, and Kiran. Thank you for organizing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.